I want to go on an actual like long real vacation. I've really never been on like a vacation to where you're
What?
gone for a week. Stop, get a meal, cup of coffee, on to the next one.
Yes, yes.
So as long as there's like a Bucky's in every state,
That's
you're set.
what I'm
It's
saying.
everybody. Working from home is not as glamorous as people think. So like Amber is like the second person I've seen today.
What?
There are such things as DocuSign signatures, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, all completed.
Burn.
I'm like, guys, this is dinner time, and if you're going to yell at me, I'm not going to talk to you. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Diving into Mobility with Dylan. But we are going to go a little off the cuff here today. We're going to start doing some Friday Q&As with Amber and I. So think of this as kind of a little short extra segment that some of our feedback from our earlier podcast in the week, got some feedback or some questions around or wanted some further discussion. So Amber's just going to hammer away some questions. I have no idea what they are, if they're fun, if they're work related, personal. We're just going to kind of roll with it. So think about our earlier podcast in the week that may have a vendor on, may have a partner on, may have another CTS team member on. We're just going to segment that into some Q&A time with Amber and I on Fridays. So be sure to tune into that and reach out if you have anything. Okay, Amber, what do you have for us today that might be fun, might be weird? I don't know. Let's hear it.
All right, let's start off with this one. What is on your bucket list?
Bucket list. Are we shooting personal? Or are we shooting business wise? Okay. Big. I want to go on an actual like long real vacation. I've really never been on like a vacation to where you're
What?
gone for a week, gone for 2 weeks. I've never
What?
been like skiing.
What?
That would be cool. Or I'd probably go like snowboarding. Um, I've never been to another country outside of like Cabo. That'd be really cool. Or I am part Japanese, so going to Japan would be super cool. I would like to get back into the training world a little bit. I could see me rebuilding the garage gym, having a few clients again, just so I can reconnect into that brain space. But that's about it. I don't really aspire to a lot of like big crazy things. I just kind of want to enjoy it as it comes.
I
What's
like
one for
that.
you? Let's hear what you got.
I want to go to every one of the states. Um, I want to do that, and I want to go skydiving. I want to go visit all the wonders of the world.
Does it count if you drive through the state to get to the next state? Like, would you really want to go to like a boring state and stay there, or would you drive through and go to a more fun one?
Count you have to at least stay there and take a picture or something. Go get a
Got it.
meal.
Stop, get a meal, cup of coffee, on to the next one.
Yes, yes.
So as long as there's like a Bucky's in every state,
That's
you're
what
set.
I'm saying.
Got it.
Exactly. What does a day in the life of Dylan look like?
Oh, this one's fun. So everyone, I tell this to everybody, working from home is not as glamorous as people think. Or like even on our production calls in the mornings, I'm like, how's it feel to see people today? So like Amber is like the second person I've seen today.
What?
I try to squeeze in going to the gym. Sometimes I got to go early in the morning. Sometimes I have to go around lunch or middle of the morning when I'm having to answer phone calls. So day in the life, it's have breakfast, hop on, start checking on emails, start making sure there's no fires I need to put out to start off the day. It's getting in touch with like my leader, Sean, who you guys met a few weeks back. Hey, is there anything he needs from me? Is there anything I need from him? Every day we have our production call, our deployment call at 9. So if I'm ever checking on y'all's orders or I'm checking on shipping, things like that, or hey, did activations go through? That's our time to do it. From there, it's kind of just reach outs to our teams, following up on people who think they don't need to approve an order, but they actually do. There are such things as DocuSign signatures, Mr. and Mrs. Customer. So we do need those all completed.
Burn.
It's a lot of just checks and balances. It's making sure that everything runs as a process. This is not Amazon. It's not a point, click, and boom, it arrives at your door 2 hours later. So we really pride ourselves on the extra effort we put into these things. And I even get from some Verizon teams that are like, Dylan, how does your memory even remember this? I'm like, I don't know, but you better be glad that it does. So afternoons might consist of customer meetings, Verizon team meetings, meetings with some of our vendors or router manufacturers, or some of our team calls to kind of review big projects. So trust me when I tell you guys that a lot of attention, a lot of strategic planning goes into all of these projects, big or small. We have some right now that might be 1,000 activation type projects when are just going to be as important as the 50 liner projects. So my goal is to answer the phone, make sure that I'm there if you need me. If I'm not, I'm going to let you. So the day in the life is a lot of this, a lot of phone. I was
What
at lunch
about
with my
your,
mom today, and I think I took 3 phone calls while we were at lunch.
wow. What
Sorry,
about
mom.
your 5 to 9 after your 9 to 5?
Well, I own the entire west of the country. So my 8 o'clock is like California's and Arizona's 6 o'clock, and we do a lot of work over there. So there are times where I'm still having to answer the phone call. So I will tell you, I've had some angry people being like, "Why hasn't this shipped yet?" And I'm like, "You ordered it this afternoon." And I'm like, guys, this is dinner time, and if you're going to yell at me, I'm not going to talk to you. So I try my best to really cut things off around like 6 o'clock our time, unless it's really pressing. Um, you know, Spend time here with my girlfriend and my son to make sure we're doing fun stuff. But a lot of times, like Fridays, Mondays and Fridays, he has karate. So you can imagine a 4-year-old doing karate. It's a lot of little kids just not listening. So that's exactly why he goes, so that he learns to listen from someone that is not me. So we try to do a lot of kids activities in the afternoon. T-ball will be starting again soon, but so kind of after work till shoot 8 o'clock is about all we got. So I'll go pick him up here in about 2 hours, and we'll just find something fun to do when it's not so stinking hot outside. I
It
think it
is
was
really hot.
106 today. So
Yes. Yeah.
um, what else we got, Ambers? Anything fun that a LinkedIn or TikTok has shot our way?
Do you have any advice for aspiring young tech professionals?
So I had this the other day from Ollie. It was a really good friend of mine who has been in sales a long time.
Hmm.
His first thought was, I've been so good at this and I love doing it. He does door to door roofing sales. So I'm going somewhere with this, and he wanted to do his own sales consulting company. And I'm like,
Okay.
okay, you don't want to do door to door sales anymore, and you don't want to be outside in the 100-degree heat, but you want to teach people how to do that. Where is your drive to want to do something like that if you don't actually want to do it yourself anymore? You just want to train people to do it. So for those that are, say, coming from car sales to technology sales because they don't like selling anymore, I'm like, okay, you don't want to sell cars anymore, but you want to go sell technology. Like, shouldn't your whole ordeal be that you do enjoy sales and you do like working with people? Because majority of the time, say someone who's very, very good at car sales, they might not know crap about a Chevy or a Ford, but it's their connection with the customer. So
Hmm.
I don't know crap about routers, about antennas, about networking, but it's that if I can connect with that customer and make sure that they know that I'm going to put the right people in front of them, then we're good. But my recommendation to anyone outside of the sales or the technology or that relationship is the key benefactor to the sell, to the sale. Because if you hate working with people, you're going to be terrible at this because
Oh
majority
yeah.
of the time you're not going to know anything about the product or service you're selling. When I left the training world to go work at Verizon, I think I told this on the very first episode. The director that brought me on knew me for years before, kept trying to bring me on to Verizon and things like that. And I would always talk to him at the gym, and I'd be like, I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about phones or data services or what to do with tablets. I'm like, I just know how to use them. And I was like, and I don't do sales. Like, why would I leave this that I've done for a decade to go do that? And he's like, Dylan, you're doing it right now. And I'm like, what? It has kind of carried me to be able to build those relationships, learn the product, learn the service to where I know just enough to be dangerous, but I know who to bring on that's going to be able to help me and be able to help the customer. So, kind of a long-winded answer, but I just think for any of those thinking about venturing this route is you got to make sure you're actually going to enjoy what you want to do. My mom just asked me today. She's like, "Well, how's work going?" And I'm like, "She's like, do you like it?" I'm like, "Well, Mom, clearly you've seen I've done this all day and no one's yelled at me yet, so it's going well." So if anyone ever just wants to discuss it, feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to talk about it. It's one of those that I'm very big on like Dave Ramsey, and one of his speakers, Ken Coleman, speaks on the proximity principle of the people that you surround yourself with or where you're going to have connections, and it's make the connections with those people in that world and see if you actually like it. Because if you just jump into something because it looks cool, you're probably going to end up hating your life. Amber, let's get one more for the listeners out there. We'll make this a short and sweet day.
Okay.
And you tell me what's something fun we've gotten or that comes to mind.
Ooh, let me choose a good one. We can end it on a fun one. If you could host a dinner party with three figures, alive or dead, fictional characters or real characters, anyone in the entire universe, who would they be and why?
Okay. So this is always like if you could have one, but three's a little different. So I feel like you kind of have to go an all around of like conversation and fun and who's going to make it actually welcoming and who's going to mesh together. So I won't go with the immediate people because that would just be like too cliche. So I'll probably go my aunt Kim that died years ago, but she was very intuitive with anything, especially business related, world events related, anything. So it was able to teach me a lot and would be able to teach me a lot now, especially. I think I have to go with somebody funny to kind of
Hmm.
make the dinner party enjoyable. I like the Ryan Reynolds comedy sometimes, but it's a little lame. So I think I got to go with somebody like Vince Vaughn. That's kind of more my comedy, a little more dry humor. And then I was just speaking on him, but I think I got to go Dave Ramsey because he's become like a hero, Uncle Dave. And make sure you tag him in this. Maybe we'll get some extra views. But it seems like the conversation between myself and those like four people would be very, strategic, but also fun, talking about things that aren't always business related, but not always personal, and learn from all three of them. So I don't know. That's the first three that came to mind. So
I like it.
Amber, how about you for a quick finish? So not too many business related questions this week, apparently, from our viewers, but we are actually going to have Pete Dunn on in the next week or so. We'll be having our partners at In-Hand Networks on. Coming up soon will be one of our vendors from Get Wireless and some of our antenna partners of Talblast and Parsec. So lots of speakers to come. And if there's anyone in particular that you want us to interview, gather intel from, we're happy to do it. So join us next week for our chat with In-Hand Networks and Pete Dunn at some point, if we can ever dial that guy down. But Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.